The early decisions of the United States Supreme Court certainly recognize the essential role of the states in our federal system of government. Justice Chase in the case of Texas versus White declared that the Constitution is, all of its provisions looks to an indestructible union composed of indestructible states. Of course, the 10th Amendment, we know about that. I'd like for you to give us your general philosophy of the role of the judiciary and relative to federalism.
Well, I can give you my view of what it's been up to now, anyway, or at least in this century. The fact is, it seems to me, that the primary defender of the constitutional balance, the federal government versus the states, maybe versus isn't the way to put it, but the primary institution to strike the right balance is the Congress. It is a principle of the Constitution that there are certain responsibilities that belong to the state and some that belong to the federal government, but it's essentially the function of the Congress the Congress, which takes the same oath to uphold and defend the Constitution that I do as a judge, to have that constitutional prescription in mind when it enacts the laws. And I think the history of this century, at least, shows that by and large, those congressional determinations will be respected by the courts.
Well, there are certain people of diverse ideologies that seem to embrace the concept of one federal legislative act as the cure for any major problem. These widely diverse groups, they are the extreme liberals and the extreme right-wingers, seem to at least agree on the fact of trying to find a single cure for problems that they consider to be monumental problems. And for example, the extreme right now seems to want a federal cure in the area of abortion, gun control, tort reform, labor violence. Does your belief in constitutional government include a belief that there should be a deference to the states in seeking solutions in areas that traditionally and historically have been considered to be in the jurisdiction of state government?
Certainly, as a member of the legislature, Senator, that would be my view. I think my writings show that I take seriously the one of the checks and balances, which are the ultimate protection of individual liberties in the Constitution. One of them is the fact that you have not just a unified centralized government, but also 50 independent states, and that the work of government is divided between those two entities. As to whether that question is of much relevance to me in the vast majority, if not all of the cases that I have to decide, that's quite a different issue. I think what I'm saying is that on the basis of the court's past decisions at any rate, the main protection for that is in the policy-making area, is in the Congress. The court's struggles to prescribe what is the proper role of the federal government vis-a-vis the state has essentially been abandoned for quite a while.
You don't care to comment on what you think from a position of being a member of the judiciary would be as opposed to the legislative, as you have stated?
I think that's right, Senator. I think what the Supreme Court decisions on the subject show is that it's very hard to find a distinct justiciable line between those matters that are appropriate for the states and those that are appropriate for the federal government. That finding that line is much easier for a legislator than for a court, and by and large the courts have not interfered. I expect there will be more arguments urging that they do so in the future, and I'll, of course, keep an open mind.
Let me ask you about the issue. You spent some time as head of the administrative conference, have written a good deal on administrative law and have taught administrative law.
Yeah.
We now have a situation where we have administrative law judges, and the administrative law judges outnumber the U.S. district court judges and the circuit court of appeal judges, I believe, more than 2 to 1, something like maybe in the neighborhood. These are ballpark approximate figures of about 1,400 administrative law judges as opposed to about 700 of the other type of judges.